And there we are. This painting now is completely dry. It's very hard and I can work on it again for the second stage. This next technique is a transparent glaze. This here is Italian pink, or if you like, a darker version of Indian yellow, which you'll probably have in your country. I'm mixing a nice watery mix and preparing the brush. We tell you how to make this mix more completely in the DVDs and the eBook, and you would have heard of this technique elsewhere. However, watch what happens when you use it in advanced painting structure. Watch this. These are the trees, and I'm just adding one stroke, and look at it come to life. And I'm doing the reflections now. Like that. So one stroke with the brush flat against the canvas, and you'll see that the paint fills the grooves of the texture of the trunk of your tree. For now, let's have some fun with the transparent glaze technique, just working in the spirit of the trees. Don't make the mix too runny. Even though it looks runny on the palette, it's staying pretty much where I want it, and I'm working in a circular motion. I'm not covering the whole of the work underneath, just some areas like this, and just some reflections with the brush flat against the canvas like that. Now let's add a touch of pink. This is alizarin crimson. Don't need very much because it's very strong. And here we are, just in some areas. I'm just scratching it into a few areas here and there, and some reflections. Doesn't matter if the reflections are a bit runnier. You can see the reflections have run a little bit. Notice now how the trunks of the trees have blended back. And if your glaze is too runny, you can just quickly dab with a dry rag here and there, just like that. Now I'm going to just clean the brush and the palette here a little. And here we go. This now is some ultramarine blue. Straight, transparent colours from the tube. And the purpose of this is just to fill in some of the areas where the underpainting was dry. That is, where the underpainting was still showing through, the places that we hadn't put a glaze on. Doesn't matter if you go over your trees, we're moulding the image. This is part of the very different approach that we have in advanced painting technique and advanced painting structure. Now all of that has been covered with a glaze. Let me just add some reflections as well. Notice the brush is flat against the canvas like this. If you're having problems now, it will be because your glaze is too strong. This is as dark as you want to make it. I'm making it dark so that you can see it on screen. In fact, when we work, we can often work with much more subtle glazes than this, but they'd hardly show up on the internet. And just mixing up some colours, very watery now, just to fill in the bottom sections. Notice that I'm going in different directions. There we are. Now everything has been done except this area here where the water meets the foliage. This is the water's edge. To do that, I'm just cleaning an area here. I think we'll mix up some pink just to be a little bit unusual. This time I'm using the knife to mix it and the knife to apply it, and notice that it's not too dark. Okay, that is actually quite a light glaze, and the technique is the creative knife technique, and it's just one stroke through the texture and cleaning up. Don't worry about the drips, we want those. And that's it, as quick as that. Now you can, with a dry brush, catch your drips, but don't paint now because you want that effect on canvas. Okay, now that is a transparent glaze which has dramatically altered the image from what it was to what it is now, and it took only a few seconds. It's very free and the painting is not dark. If your painting is dark, you're going to have problems. We need the light to reflect back out through your painting surface, to back out through that transparent glaze to the viewer. Okay, back on the palette now, we're going to use the scumble technique. So I'm squeezing out some white and some yellow. We're going to mix the mix for the scumble, which is explained very carefully for you in the DVDs and the ebook. This is using thick paint. We could use it straight out of the tube, but we don't want to have our paintings crack. And this is why we're very careful to add medium to every application from here on. Notice how the paint is unmixed on the brush. And again, with the brush flat against the surface, I'm going to just add some different colour, wiping between each one. You don't get many strokes out of this. 1, 2, 3, that's a little bit dark, so I'll be careful now to keep them lighter. Not everywhere, just here and there, just to increase the effect of paint on the canvas. Notice that it's creative. I'm not going in any particular direction at all. I'm not going to cover the whole surface. I'm leaving some of the areas that are glazed coming through. And there we are, some simple scumbles very quickly placed on the canvas again, making sure they're not too dark, and of course some reflections. And you can do your reflections any way that you want. You don't need to do too many. They're a bit too dark, those strokes. You don't need to go that dark. And the purpose of this is just, again, to vary the texture. And a couple of hits straight through the water's edge area just to add some scumble there as well. And lastly, just here and there, a very quick stroke through the trees. Not over the whole thing, just here and there, so that it had a dagger technique, a glaze, and now a scumble. We haven't scumbled over the whole length of the trees, just here and there. And let's reflect a bit of that. And there we are, that's stage 2. It has a transparent glaze, creative knife technique, although it was only a subtle creative knife technique there. We only used one colour with it. It can be a very powerful one, as you know. And also the scumble. Let it dry, and whatever you do, don't overwork it. Advanced painting technique is easy. The time the brush is on the canvas is very, very quick.